Hey, nice to meet you. I don't know if we've met in the past or not, but uh, have you been in Chestertown for a while?
Yeah, I actually ran Churchill Theater for about 3.5, 4 years back from 2007 through 2011.
What attracted you to come back and take on this? I mean, it's a big job.
What attracted me to come back to the Garfield, specifically to Garfield, to Chestertown, to the area, was that of all the places that I've lived over the years, and I've lived in many. I grew up with my dad moving the family around a lot as he took different jobs in different places. And then when I got into professional theater, I went where the jobs were as an actor. I went where the jobs were as a director. I segued into artistic directing and executive directing, and you have to find organizations that hire for that. So I've just been moving my whole life. I actually kind of felt like of all the places I've been, the one that I enjoyed the most was here.
Could you tell me a little bit more about the vision of the Garfield?
I've always had this thing, and to me, it's not just words. I do believe in it, that the arts become sort of a foundation for a community's identity. One of the foundations that exists out there, one means by which the community can express itself in a very important way. And take away the arts, and that specific, unique way of expressing yourself is gone. So in that regard, there's a cultural connection that occurs within the actual, at the time, as it progresses, cultural identity of that town, of that community. So we may not necessarily always see what we are contributing to that cultural identity because it's literally happening around us with our participation as it's going on. We will be able to see what did we mean to that cultural identity right now. But ultimately, I think that endeavoring to be a foundation of that cultural dialogue, that cultural opportunity, is really, really important.
And I want to go back a long time ago, like 3 weeks ago.
Oh yeah, that's a long time ago.
When you were getting in the saddle, and what were you wanting to do in that first year?
What's there is fantastic. So it let me sort of shift gears and look instead at other things that I thought that I knew I could impact with my experience coming into this organization that I felt it needed. It is not uncommon that an arts organization's leadership over the years tends to be very artistic centric. And even I am artistic centric. We all are. But sometimes what happens then in the course of that is that maybe the organization is for want of procedural stuff, things that will help us do better business as a business, so we can sort of have a tight ship running, that we can accomplish things a little bit more easily down the road. What I felt I was sort of immediately launching myself into was looking at how do we do things, how do we procedurally handle anything like our social media presence, our advertising, or how do we even report purchases and stuff for a production. It can be something small, it can be something big. What kind of process do we have in place for the process for a production from the auditions all the way through to the finish of the show? And do we have support type of materials that helps as a resource folks understand that process better, so that every time it happens, it's always the Garfields process?
Well, here we are trying to get past this virus, and you all have done some really wonderful creative thinking about how we get through what we hope is a gap moment. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
What we came up with was this idea of GCTV, which is Garfield Center Television. And then we also call it the Garfield Streams the Arts. So the idea here is that if people are self-isolating or social distancing, and we cannot congregate because, of course, there are now guidelines that say that we can't, then we should be finding a way to provide for the community a continued presence of the arts for them to enjoy from the comfort of their own home, because that's where they all are. That's where they're stuck. It's a shame that people can't come in and sit down and watch a show at the Garfield during this period of time. And there's a lot of folks in our community who would probably love nothing more than to do that. So if they can't, then let's bring the Garfield to them.